was way too fast.
That
Oh
was
my
fun. That
goodness.
was funny.
Okay. So, Jeannie, we wanted to start with a slide about alone together
Right.
because that's really the situation we're finding ourselves in. And so many professions now are closing. And
Hmm.
you were telling me about some of the creative things that people are doing to
Yeah.
maintain some income. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're really gonna we've had some Zoom sessions. We've been brainstorming with people that are like yoga teachers. We have a number of chiropractors on our team and definitely personal trainers. You know, the chiropractors are canceling all their appointments, their clients, their patients are. So, but they have such a valuable gift to give people. And so some of them have had online programs, but we've been teaching some of them how to do Zoom so they can just communicate with their
Oh,
clients.
very
But
nice.
Suzanne Jeffries is one of these people, Barbara, that runs a water aerobics class down here, a Tai Chi class down here, a yoga, gentle yoga that I participate in. And honestly, no one's coming. So she's become creative. And we always said on the last few calls, I don't know how many of you remember, but we said, when things are challenging, people will become creative. They'll find
Mm-hmm.
creative ideas. So she
Mm-hmm.
came up with stay home, stay busy, and stay busy. Stay home, stay safe, stay busy. And it's
Nice.
going to be
Yeah.
a workshop for families that are at home due to the coronavirus. And then another one of our gals who happens to be a life coach, she's actually doing a 21-day empowerment program. Which we all need today. I
Oh.
may join her class actually. So each day for about 20 minutes, she's just having different people speaking about empowering ourselves. So, as I said,
Mhm.
Barbara, I think this is going to bring out tremendous creativity. I wonder if this isn't going to connect us more, really.
Yes, I mean, we are connected. And every night I was listening to Nora O'Donnell tonight on CBS, and she closes out every night and she says, "We're all in this together." And
Mhm.
so that's why our friend Lee, Jessica Wurzbach, she decided we need a little humor in
A
our
little levity.
a little levity. So she has her before and after quarantine pictures.
That's definitely going to happen to people. Oh
Okay.
boy, oh boy. Oh
Me
boy,
after I
oh
did all
boy.
my quarantine snacks in one night, and this
This one's great. This one's
Francine
great.
Francine created the what
That's
is it,
terrific.
the Barbie toilet
the
paper.
the crocheted Barbie toilet paper holder. Yeah.
Oh yes, a
I found
necessity.
it. I did not create that.
This is this is this is definitely the best one.
I love
This
this
is the
one.
best one.
I have no idea what I'm doing,
This is the best
especially
one.
all these suddenly homeschooling parents. And
Yeah.
then we found this really quite lovely quote from Mother Teresa. It's not how much we give, it's how much love we put into the giving, which I
Mhm.
thought was very sweet. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, I'll see if Pam is on before we close because she was
Mhm.
telling me something.
Oh, great! You put it up. You are
Good.
just brilliant. Look
Well,
at how fast you
well,
move.
I
Look at
just got,
that.
well, this is just a piece of it, but I thought you might have the other part there because it wouldn't all fit.
Yeah. Go ahead. You
You,
start. I'll get the
oh,
rest of
no,
it.
no, go ahead. Start about because I thought it
Well,
was
Yeah,
wonderful.
just let me
y-
know when you run it back.
yeah. This is just. Well, I think our owner, for those of you that are coming on, he's really been inspiring to us and comforting to us and just pulling out all the plugs to get the products, get the supply chain running. But he sent this wonderful letter today and it really shares his heart. And I think that this is a wonderful example for us, to how to communicate even with the people in our lives, because some people get they stonewall in situations like this. But Roger Barnett has always been a humanitarian. If you have followed his life, this is who he is. And it's
Mhm.
those people that really step into things at this time and just really lead. They lead. So he said, I worry deeply about the economic impact of our actions to slow the spread of the virus. I worry especially about millions of mostly hourly workers who will no longer have employment in the near future, those of us who have must share. And
Mhm.
this brings me back to our mission. We can't control the virus, but we can help people be their healthiest. We can offer products that are proven to help with immunity. We can offer people perfectly balanced, long shelf life meals. We can offer ways to clean your hands and kill viruses. We can't stop the closure of business, but we can offer people an opportunity to earn some extra money in a totally digital manner. We can provide community, coaching, support through social media and video calls. And I love this sentence. We can do a lot. We're not
Yeah.
helpless. We
Oh,
can do a lot, right,
yeah.
Barb?
Absolutely.
And there are times in our life when we are confronted with choices. And this is one of those times. Lead during this time. Take a
Hmm.
proactive view of helping yourself and your communities. And please know that as 2 million members of the Shackley family around the world, we are strong and can make a meaningful difference in the lives of millions more. Thank you for all that you do every day to make the world a better place. And there was a leader today who wrote Shackley Strong. I don't know how many of you remember, but when
Oh.
and I think that might have to be our like little hashtag about Shackley
Oh.
Strong.
Mm.
But I think I, Barb, you and I cannot articulate this any better than our owner did. This is who we
Absolutely.
are. This is
Yeah.
what we're doing it. This is why we're doing it.
Yeah. And uh, in uh, in putting this program together tonight, we have paused from our normal 8 weeks to director training to insert this session tonight that we are calling um, Time to Rise and Lead. And that came right from Roger Barnett, who almost every day this week, this is
Mhm.
only Thursday, but every day this week, he has either given us video messages or written
Yes.
messages, and they're really moving on it. And so I was going through some of our archives, and there was a session that we did several years ago in this training, and it was about the history of Shackley and many of the really quite remarkable leaders who have gone before us. And I found this slide, and I just thought it'd be a nice time to share this with all of you because it said that, now is our time to build on all the history, all the accomplishments, all the heritage, and now create the next chapter of the Shackley story. And none of us could have known that we would be called upon as a company because of our heritage, because of our expertise and our science, and people feeling they can trust Shackley, and um, that we that when Roger Barnett told us in January that as we were beginning this next decade, that this was going to, he was predicting that this would be the the decade of the greatest growth in all of Shackley's history, which was really saying something. And I remember at the time thinking, "Whoa, that's really um, quite a vision." A vision that he's putting out there, and golly, we're already seeing it, and um, and it it's really we're many of us are feeling that even though we talk in our trainings about helping people build their businesses and reach out because that's how you build your business, but now it's it's very different framing, isn't it? Now we are reaching out because there's a whole country out there um, ne- needing our expertise, needing the quality of our products, and just needing the sense of community that always comes along with every Shackley product that is sold. A little piece of us always goes with it, and people just knowing that someone is caring about them and they're really not alone. So, this slide went on to say to think about now's the time to think about what role we will play in this coming decade because we are really being confronted with a huge need right now. And what sense of purpose and mission will we carry within ourselves, just as Dr. Shackley did, and just as Roger does today, reflected in the letter that Jeannie just read? And to ask ourselves, what is the mission for our business? We're going to show you in a couple of slides in a moment. the mission that has been stated by Shackley. But what do we want to create with our life? And then it said, let's adopt the tenacity and the conviction and the commitment of the courageous and inspired leaders who have gone before us. Um, I don't know how much you know about the history of Shackley, but there have been a number of times in Shackley's history when the chips were really down. They had a time when their food supplement factory had an explosion, wasn't it, Jeannie? Some kind of
Yes, blew
something
up.
something blew up,
Fire, a
and
fire.
they came up with the most I mean, people were driving across
Yeah.
country and renting trucks taking turns, renting the trucks and driving them and bringing them back to the other distributors in the area. I mean, things like that that
Mhm.
just make you really proud to be a part
Yeah.
of the company, and especially now that the need is so great. So I'm Pam, if could you take 1 second and unmute? I know I'm kind of
Sure,
catching
I'm
you
here.
by surprise.
Yeah.
Would you just share that story that you just told me about Aldi? I just think it's
Oh,
great for us people to hear about the goodwill that is happening across the country.
of course. I used to work for Aldi. For those who don't know, that's when I came to Chicago. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, went to Cornell University. When I graduated, I came to Chicago to work for Aldi. And I worked there for 11 years. I was a corporate buyer, and I loved that company because their goal was to have the highest possible quality at the lowest possible price. And a lot of their mission of their company and the culture of their company parallels Shackley. And I think it's really cool how life comes that way and opportunities come. And I just look back on all that fate stuff. But anyway, I'm a big fan of Aldi. And I read today on Facebook that um, there was a picture that some girls posted, three cashiers who work at Aldi. They were outside in the sunshine somewhere other than Chicago as it was raining today, and they were saying, here we are in the parking lot getting ready to go into our shift and help the people to get the best food they can, and we're wearing our smiles, and just how their whole approach was
Oh,
about goodness and everything. But they said our company, then they made a little update on the bottom and like a second post. They said, just to update all of you, our company is so amazing. Not only are they providing meals for the employees on their shifts when they're at work. Food is provided by Aldi to feed their employees, but they've also announced today an across the board raise, raise
mm,
for all the employees that work in the stores
mm,
and in the warehouses to provide the food to the people who need it so badly. This company is giving their employees a raise. It's just like I
lovely.
was so warmed by that. It just made tears.
Mm-hmm.
Tears in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is exactly the kind of companies we need to align ourselves with. So I was on another Zoom call with our team today, and I was like, so if you're deciding where to go to the grocery store, if Aldi's an option, you have access to an Aldi store, go there because they're a give back kind of company. And I just love putting my dollars there. So
Mm-hmm.
and you know what?
Nice.
I went to the store and a lady went there and she didn't speak English. She clearly had trouble with the cart thing. If you go to Aldi, you got to put a quarter in the cart. You rent the
Oh,
cart.
yeah.
You put the cart. She didn't get it, so she walked up there and she's just like looking at me. And I thought she was afraid to be in 6 feet of me because I thought it was a coronavirus thing. And she's
Mm-hmm.
just looking at me, and I'm like, oh no, you need to have a cart. So I gave her my cart, and then I said I have another quarter in my car, so I'll just go back to my car. So I went to the whatever. She's on shopping and I was shopping and I didn't see her in the store. It's a small store, but I didn't see her. But we got around to the thing and I checked out and I packed all my groceries and I was over there and I saw her come into the checkout line with her husband or whoever he was. And she put all her groceries up on the cart and something told me to pay for her groceries. And I was talking to my daughter on the phone. I
Mm.
said, hold on a second, Miranda. I need to go buy some of these groceries. And she's like, what? I said, I'm going to go buy someone's groceries right now. She's like, wow. And so she said, okay. So I went over there and I told the cashier, I said, I want to pay for her groceries. And she looked at me and she's like, okay. And the lady had turned her back to me. She didn't even know what was going on. She didn't even know
Mm-hmm.
the checkout routine and the whole thing at Aldi.
Mm-hmm.
But the girl nodded at me and she pointed to the thing and she indicated to me to put my credit card in the machine now because she was scanning. And so I slipped the card in. I have no idea what she bought. but I
Mm,
saw ramen noodles and some fruit and stuff, and I was just
mhm,
like, okay, she doesn't have a lot of stuff, and
mhm.
it didn't matter, and I have no idea. And so I put the card in, and then it goes bing, 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 and I pulled the card out, right, and I walked away, and I'm walking out the store, and she's like, hey, 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 I could hear her, and I turned around, and she's looking at me like her arms are shrugged, like, why? And I just turned around and
Oh,
walked out the door. And she came
oh,
to me in the car in the parking lot. It was
oh,
raining. And she walked up
oh,
to me and she gave me this super big hug. And I said, have
oh,
you ever shopped at Aldi before? And she goes, no. I said,
oh,
well, make sure you come back again. Good people are here, but you will have to buy your groceries next time. Make
oh,
sure you
nice,
keep your card.
nice,
And
nice.
it was like $60. It was no
Oh,
big deal, but I was
random act of
so
kindness.
great.
Very
So,
nice.
so great.
Very nice. So, Chris, you're going to want us to give you a break here. We're right
I'm
at the time.
sorry.
Did you thank you, Pam? Do you need Jeannie to adjust her microphone? Or are you okay? It, Jean, Jeannie.
Yes. I don't I don't see audio settings. Oh yeah, audio settings. I see it now. It's all the way. Oh, let me move the volume. It looks like the volume has to be moved over a little bit. No, I can't get it to move over. Sorry.
I'm glad it's you doing this,
I
Jeannie, and
know,
not
and I
me.
don't know what I'm doing
I know.
here at all.
I hate it when he says, "Just go and click on the down arrow." It's
I
like,
don't know what else to do. I really do apologize. I don't know what
no.
else to do.
Oh, Chris.
I fixed
Okay.
mine, Chris. I'm all good.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Set it
Okay.
set it down a little bit. Okay. Oh golly. Okay. 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 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to tonight's 8 weeks to director, but we're taking a little pause tonight to really have a chance to talk about all this coronavirus challenge that is facing us. And we're calling tonight's session, quoting our owner and CEO, Roger Barnett, that our time to rise and to lead. And so we wanted to begin with reviewing where we were last week because a lot of what we're going to be talking about tonight is an extension of the discussion we had last week about customer care and servicing our customers. And so, Jeannie, I'll start here and then maybe you can jump in.
Sure.
One of the areas that we really emphasized last week were these wonderful appointments. We used to call them new member appointments, and then we expanded that to member update appointments, and now we call them benefits appointments. But they're that time that we take with a new customer to share all a little background about Shackley and the Shackley difference. And I think now you're going to see just why that was so important because right now Shackley is absolutely deluged with not only current customers, but customers coming back for both products and even the business. And Gene, example of one of your directors. Would you share that sort of Carol's story?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, I think all of us are seeing this now. First of all, customers are coming out of the woodwork, which we have, which is wonderful. We're welcoming that. But what's also happening is that people have watched us through the years. And in this particular case, it's a daughter that has been watching her mother through the years.
Mm, mm,
And the daughter is down in Nashville, and many of you know that Nashville just went through a tornado. It had all kinds of issues, and she really has no money coming in. So she actually called her mother and said, I'd like to build a Shackley business. And
mm,
not only that, she got her boyfriend to sponsor in. None of them have money, but the
mm.
boyfriend put in a $400 order to get started.
Get
And they
started.
feel like they have a future
That's right. And
because that's
so
what's been being taken away by what's happening. Like in one day,
I'm
people have just lost
overnight.
that.
That's right.
Mhm.
Of us. who have mature businesses, like Carol, the woman that Jeannie's describing, the four of us who are sharing tonight. That's why those who have mature businesses are swamped right now because we took the time to teach people about products they could trust and about quality. That's what it was about. And here's the message we'd like to share with all of you because many of you are new. Our goal in this training is to help get you to director within the next 8 weeks or so. 10 years from now, you're going to be the ones having hundreds of customers. And some of those customers are going to be currently active, just like it is for those of us who have existing businesses. And some will be less active, just like it is for us. Sometimes they're active, sometimes they're not. But the level of service you provide will make them feel connected to you forever. And that's why we spent the time to talk about that last week. It is a perfect opportunity right now to serve our customers, to address their concerns, both nutritional and emotional. And Jeannie, you want to close here?
Well, I think most of us understand that we're really going through challenging times, but people still want quality. And especially if we've done a good job in the beginning, we've ingrained that philosophy, the idea that these products are superior, that they are well tested. And you may think in that minute that they didn't hear you, but they have. And they come back. And that's what we're seeing. So, really, the work you do today, you never know if down the road
That's
it's going
right.
to impact someone's life and their health, by the way.
Exactly right. So,
Hmm.
our objectives today is to take a moment to pause for an important discussion
Right.
because we just want to remind you that the purpose of this 8 week to training, which will now be 9 weeks, I guess, to training, is to help everyone attending, wherever you are in your business, to advance and rank, uh, beginning with those new distributors and to get them to director. And so, our purpose tonight is to give you the tools and languaging and approaches to help you reach out in a gentle, caring, authentic, helpful way without pitching, sales pitching, without offending or intruding, to help just alleviate the anxiety that so many people are feeling. Jeannie?
Yeah, and also, we're going to discuss today what your role is as a leader because there isn't for any of us a track to run on in a challenging time like this. So we're going to help you with that and help build your confidence because you are going to have customers who may have to wait for their orders. You may have distributors who are perhaps having anxiety themselves, but there's something we can do. We have control on that. So we're going to review some talking points on a few of the products, which will help build your confidence. But I think the most important thing, the concern that we have, and I think that Francine and Lisa and Barb and I have tonight, is that we want to make sure that you're able to open those conversations, to ask those questions, and to close with options so that we respect where people are right now. So we don't come across as, I use the word opportunistic.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be very careful because people are very, very sensitive to that. But I think tonight will really help you through that. That's our goal for this evening.
Oh, and I just realized I left out our team slide, our team picture. So I will introduce the
I
next
think
person.
but I think they see us, don't they?
Well, if they have their little windows open, I guess they could. But so this is our dear friend Lisa Anderson who is joining us
Hey,
tonight.
Hello.
Lisa. Hey,
And and
Lisa.
and in a minute, you'll see Francine Rolling, who is on track to become a new executive
Yay.
coordinator. Talk about advancing in ranks. So, Lisa, tell us about what the messages that we've been getting from Roger.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And I actually don't think anybody on YouTube can see our faces, but you've probably seen our faces before. Just know that we're thrilled to be talking to you tonight. And I will tell you, I mean, I've known Roger Barnett since he came to our company back in 2004. And never have I seen the quality and the beauty of his leadership rise as it has in these last few weeks.
Mm,
And it has been such a joy to know that this is who is at the helm. And there's such strength and wisdom and vision there. And he has had some powerful missions. But this is what I would like to really share on this slide. This is our time. We were made for this time. And this is really what Roger has been telling us. Um, from if you go all the way back to where Dr. Shackley started this thing and you look at all the people that have created this thing, this is who we are as a company. We were designed to help and support and care and get people through health crisis, through opportunity, and through financial crisis. And so, I mean, really, if you haven't listened to Roger's messages, go back and catch them on the Mission Possibles that are on the Shackley Effect page. But the question I would ask each of us is, who can we be, and what can we do to step into the full legacy of what we are a part of? I was talking with my team a couple days ago and just said, uh, you've made a choice at some point in time to be a part of this company. So you
Mm,
are positioned right now to become something extraordinary for people in their lives. And so we want you to, all through this webinar, be aware of how special you are and how well placed you are in a company right now that is being so needed, so
mm,
needed.
mm,
So sorry, I keep seeing the screen. So now we want to look at connection, and it's a time to be careful how we connect. I love really what Jeannie said when she was leading into this. If you think about who we are in Shackley and what makes us the best of the best in the leadership capacity, it's really the things that we're going to talk about here. But right now, because of the sensitivity and the pain that the world is in, it's really important that we be extra intentional to be about them. Okay, so four
mm,
objectives for every contact. You want to build relationships. You want to be listening. I wrote a note to myself a while ago. We have to listen more, talk less, so that then we can
mm,
offer, right? And I
mm,
mean, I'm a talker. I could talk all day long, but that's not what this is about. This is about listening. So we want to offer to reach out for referrals. We want to be uh, very present why people are sharing. And then we want to be prepared and ready and calm to offer financial options based upon their need, not upon our desire to step in there and to jump into a void, right? It's like Jeannie said, we're not opportunistic. We're kind and we're loving. We have the answers, right? So people are experiencing two great fears right now, experiencing in the midst of a ton of anxiety. They're afraid of the virus and they're afraid of the loss of income. And so we want to prepare ourselves so that we can be free to share the goodness and the kindness of Shackley in both of those areas.
Mhm. So good,
Francine.
Lisa.
mhm,
Well, talking about fear a little bit more, do you remember a couple of weeks ago when we had this training and we were talking about belief and the subconscious and how so many memories and emotions get put into our subconscious, and that's where the bulk of our decisions that we make every day come from, and we're not really aware of it. Keep in mind that a lot of fear is in there. So there may have been things that you've experienced, your customers have experienced when they were children that called to mind the fear and how they felt out of control. And we need to keep that in mind when we're talking to people right now. We need to keep that in mind when we think about how we're presenting things too, because there's a difference between coming at something when you're coming out of it because someone is fearful versus when you're coming at it from a place of love.
mm,
And not only does it feel better to people when they know you're coming at something out of a place of love, but we also need to be careful for legal reasons that we're not spreading things that could be construed as not true or making claims that we can't back up. If you watch the news at all these days, and I recommend not, but if you do, there's people that are trying to take advantage of others right now by claiming that they have a cure for this, virus, and um, I don't even know what this stuff was. It was ridiculous, but now it's gotten the attention of the legal authorities. Well, that just causes more stress on people. It makes people more distrustful. So keep in mind that what we present is a lot of what we present you guys is just positivity and encouragement. Sometimes we are the only people who are a bright light in people's lives, and even more so during a crisis like this. So when you're posting on Facebook, be careful of doing posts that are saying anything about treating, curing, preventing. Um, even some of these examples we have down here, like one says the best defense is a strong immune system. Well, that's a factual statement, or at least
It's
something that I
actually
agree
true.
with. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
But it got company in trouble for making a claim like that. So, this is a great time to get on the phone with people and have conversations. We're going to talk more about word tracks and reasons for calling a little bit later in this presentation, but maybe use this time to just share more positive, encouraging types of posts on Facebook and save the in depth supplement conversations for a phone call.
Excellent.
Good advice.
So one when we are on the phone with somebody though, and this is something you could share if you have a customer group, a private customer group, is the fact that there's a new immunity power pack that's available. Now, if you remember, this is our third immunity power pack because we keep running out or things keep getting back ordered that were in the original pack. So we have this available, and the purpose of these packs is convenience for customers at this time. Sometimes when you're under stress, it's harder to make decisions. So this pack brings together the shake, the vitalizer, Optiflora DI plus stress relief complex. And I mean, that's a great product all the time. So that comes to you in this pack. And the whole point of it is to make us stronger and healthier, because the best defense for anything is to be healthier at the forefront and hopefully not get sick. But then if you do get sick, having the energy and the strength in your body to fight that off.
And one of the things I was really pleased to see the stress relief complex added because stress significantly weakens the immune system. And people are feeling it in all directions. In fact, Hans came home today. He shouldn't have been out, but he was going, he was out. He was coming back from our cottage, and he said, "I have decided I'm not listening to the news anymore for a while." He said, "It's just too heavy." But on the other hand, we have to because that's our source of information and it's changing constantly. So they've now today restricted international flights. So it affects us, you know. So stress relief complex blunts that cortisol production and it just allows people to be able to function and think straight and so on. It's a really nice product.
Mhm.
Okay, Lisa.
All right. So, speaking of back orders, we thought it might be a good idea to just talk a little bit about them because we have them happening. And if you've been kind of keeping in tune with what the company's been sharing, we have a very clear understanding of why we have those back orders, but it is your job. You are the person connecting between your members and between the people that you're working with, to help them understand this in a realistic way. But it's also super important that we don't quit sharing and we don't hold back these wonderful products that people need because they can't get them right away. So we want to just help you have a little perspective about being prepared to be in the leader role, and help to set kind of the tone as your people are dealing with, the expectation or the hope of these great products, but then they're going to have to wait. There is a reality to this because of the massive, kind of need that went on there. We are catching up. I do think that things are going to be smooth in the next few weeks. But as the leader, you can, I love this bullet point in here, offer explanations, but not excuses. This is a reality. There was a little bit of lag on the shipping time because they had to make some changes to the way the warehouse was being disinfected and stuff like that, right? So we want to encourage you to embrace those roles as you being the leader and know that this is okay. This is a part of the world. And I have had two very specific times in the last week where I had upset distributors or customers over certain things that they couldn't get or over wait times. And I said, listen, there's a lot happening right now, and the company is meeting an incredible demand. They're doing a phenomenal job, but they are also dealing with the same restrictions and government requirements that the rest of the world is, and this is a part of our reality. And you know what, they accepted it and handled it just fine. So we just thought it would be an important time to encourage you to keep sharing strong, and it's okay to let people know that they're going to have to wait a little bit for these products, but it's worth it, and it's a part of the reality, and we're going to handle it just fine. So
Lisa, I want to just say that is a very important slide because we can change the energy on a
Yes.
phone call in the room. It's very
Yes.
important. And I just want everyone to know that Roger is hiring a number of people to fill in Ohio. But even if you order things on Amazon or Walmart right now, you're waiting 10 days for some of these items.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not that different from everyone else. But I love the way you explained this. And I think that that's really going to be the key for us, how we handle that back order situation.
Yes,
Very.
and people just needed to know, I mean, they need to know that our company really does care and it really does matter to them. It's not a bottom line thing. The company really does want to do the best they can, and doing going to great lengths. So I
Mhm.
appreciate you sharing that, Jeannie. All
Right.
right, France, you can kick us off on this page.
Sure, sure. So when we're talking to people, a lot of times they'll ask us for recommendations about what they should be using right now. And so it's good to kind of have just a little toolkit put together, I guess, of some products that you might want to recommend. Some of these things with longer order times, if it's doable for you, you might even consider having a little stockpile, so to speak, an inventory. Maybe you and a couple other people on your team could go in together and do that if you live in the same area, to make it a little more economically feasible. But because sometimes people just need stuff, um, and they don't plan ahead. So some of the products that are really good for our immunity is hand wash. We know that the CDC is recommending, everybody you talk to who has any type of medical background is recommending we wash our hands a lot, right? 20 seconds, and singing happy birthday twice. Um, the nice thing about our hand wash is that it does not dry out your skin. So, the more you wash your hands, if you have something that has a lot of alcohol in it or just harsh chemicals, it is going to dry out your skin. And then that causes a whole other set of issues. Our hand wash is really soothing, and it does not destroy the microbiome. So we have protection on our skin. It's our first line of defense too from keeping germs from entering our bloodstream, and our hand wash helps keep that intact while washing the germs off without destroying any of that natural microbiome. So that's a good product. That's also a great one if you have those little 4-ounce squirt bottles. You could make those into nice little gifts, share those with people. Becky Choate, I know, carries that with her when she travels. So if you do have to get out now, that's a good one to take with you. Basic G as well. So Basic G is taking a little while to get to us right now, but it is coming. It is coming, and it makes 64 gallons of germ killer cleaner. So it is an antiviral. So it's a great protective product to have around. Now this is something you when you do make it up into the spray bottle, you want to use that and then switch it out to keep the germicide property intact. I think 3 days is the longest you're supposed to have it in the spray bottle before you start over with a new solution. But again, if somebody is waiting for their Basic G to come in and you have some at home, if sharing some of that in one of those little sample bottles, that's a beautiful thing to get somebody by as well. Optiflora, we know that 80% of our immune system is in the gut. And so we've got the Optiflora pearls as well as the Optiflora DI. Those are great things to have on hand. People understand, I think, how important probiotics are in our natural immune system defense. So that's wonderful. Nutriferon is another product. That one, I always like to use the example of Wonder Woman. I wasn't a big superhero fan, but I remember this Wonder Woman comic book one time when I was a little girl, and she had on these bracelets, and she would be fighting off bullets um, with her bracelets, and that's kind of what Nutriferon does. So Nutriferon is nutrition for the interferon, which conducts our immune system. And so the best thing again we can do is keep those germs from attaching into our healthy cells, and the nutriferin will help that happen. So I was first introduced to nutriferin because of seasonal allergies, and that made a tremendous difference. So vitamin C, garlic, zinc, and the Vitalized Immunity is also a vitamin C product. Those are easy things to have on hand. I think people understand the value of vitamin C and zinc and garlic when it comes to immunity. So, vitalized immunity is great to carry with you, but if somebody is on a budget, you might want to steer them toward the sustained release vitamin C. It actually works out being a little bit better for their budget. But the vitalized immunity is a great plop plop fizz fizz that we can take with us as well. So, garlic, you can take it as a tablet. You can also crush it and put it on like toast for kiddos if they can't swallow it when they're sick. And then zinc, of course, people have used zinc and zinc lozenges and for years, so they understand the value of those. And those products are easy on the pocketbook too. So again, if you're working with somebody who's on a budget, maybe somebody who's new to Shackley, these are products that are easy to help them understand the value of both the value to help their immune system, but also monetarily.
Very
Absolutely,
good.
absolutely. Even basic G is range and it makes 64 gallons.
Hmm.
I mean, really, they're economical. So we really can work with people with their budgets. Lisa.
So the Prove It Challenge, it's really, I think, kind of wonderful how we're reframing it right now. Some of it out of necessity because it's stepping into this kind of gap because we have a lot of back ordered immune products. But I've heard Roger say it twice. It is a vitamin and an immune pack, and it really truly is because look what's in the Prove It Challenge. You've got your Optiflora, you've got vitamin C, you've got vitamin A, you've got vitamin D. So I really was kind of excited about this third version of the super immunity pack because I believe it really holds a tremendous amount of foundational nutrition, which we're kind of in a stressful, difficult situation for the long haul. And to get people on something like the vitalizer and the shakes now and build their body up now is just as crucial as dealing with just kind of some targeted things, right? So
Very good.
I love the fact that we're sharing the Prove It Challenge. I've actually loved it since it was kind of put together in this package back in the summer. But it is a really important thing to develop some strong, comfortable language around as to why it would benefit people now. They need good nutrition now more than ever, and they need to make sure that what's going into their body is going to feed them and it's going to count because they're dealing with so much, right? The Life Shake, every cell in the body needs protein to make another good cell. It is the key. Where do we get something as cost effective and as high quality as this food,
Mm,
right? And then this long shelf life idea, gosh, that is really smart. So it comes straight to the door, goes right in the shelf, it tastes good, and it's going to take care of you, take care of your body. And people really are aware of right now their vulnerability, and these products step in and really kind of strengthen that, if that makes sense. So
mm,
and then stress relief. Barb talked about it, but we know that stress takes people down. It destroys our health. And when we're under long term stress, it gets worse and worse and worse. So, this is a fantastic product to help people sleep better and help them to deal with all kinds of things better. So, we thought it would be wise to just talk a little bit about why the Prove It Challenge is a good starting place. We want to equip you with just some confidence in sharing this right now because it is a really good time. In 30 days, people can feel a difference. They do feel better and have more focus and more energy and feel overall healthier. Their eating habits need to change. And we talked in the pre-call of the jokes about being quarantined and how we eat and comfort eating and all that. But this is a really good time to link arms with people and say, hey, let's just kind of commit to each other to try to take care of our bodies and to eat well, right? Helps kick the sugar carbohydrate cravings, which is a huge gift. It's economical. It's really, really economical if you think about it and think about getting 30 meals in that. I also love to talk about the healthy cleanse. And if you think about how much of our immune cells originate in the gut and the idea of letting your digestive tract take a break
mm.
and heal and rest, I do think that this pack is a huge catalyst towards boosting our immune function and helping us stay well. So you just want to be able to have this conversation in the climate that we're in today, which is about staying well and taking care of ourselves. And
Mhm.
our Prove It Challenge is ideal for it. It really
Right.
is.
And
Excellent.
Lisa, for people who have already gone through the Prove It Challenge, who have already done the cleanse, we're talking about customer service too.
Hmm.
Those recipes that they ate, whole foods, whole vegetables, those are perfect for building immunity as well. So,
Yes.
reaching out to people and sharing some of your favorite cleanse recipes, that's a great thing too, because that's only going to help them get stronger. They didn't contain, starches and sugars and that kind of thing that actually makes our body work harder. So, all right, you guys. So before my life with Shackley, I worked with social services, and so my job was to work with people who were at risk and going through some type of crises and help them come up with resources. And so that's like my go-to. Like anytime there's a problem, um, I just I go into like problem solving mode. What can I do? How can I help, with resources?
Mm,
What can we do to help people face a crisis? So when this all came up, the first thing I thought of was, gosh, there's a lot of negativity out there, and you can
mm,
see the fear, you can hear the fear. And I know from my background, you all know this too, that that fear and that stress, that actually hurts us, right? It hurts us emotionally, it hurts us physically. It's not good for our immune system. Gratefulness, gratitude, thankfulness, all of that stuff is feels better, but it's also better for our body. So anyway,
Mhm.
I was just thinking about this and what we could do to help people just feel a little more safe in this world right now. And so some of my team and I decided we would just put together a community that is called My Happy Place, which happens to be the name of one of our other teammates' customer group, because it's a fabulous name. We didn't realize it at the time, but great minds think alike, right? But this is just a place for people to come together for some positivity. And we publicized this, and overnight we had 100 members join us.
mm.
Wow.
It's nothing fancy. We're posting encouragement every morning. The very first thing they see when they log on is going to be something encouraging, something positive. It may be, a positive quote. It might be a scripture verse. It may be a cute picture, whatever. But then each day, then we have a different topic assigned. So that we'll be doing workouts. We'll be giving healthy recipes. We'll be talking about physical and mental health. A couple people helping to facilitate the group on our team are educators. So they're going to be offering resources for parents who are home
Mm.
with their kids, and all of
Oh,
a sudden,
nice.
real stress, right?
Very nice.
So, those things, just trying to give people a safe place that they can come and receive some positivity, but also feel cared for and safe and feel like their needs are being met. It's absolutely free of charge. It's just something we want to do to show that we care for our customers as people. It's not always
It's a
about
great
products.
idea.
Promoting
Hmm.
products is one thing that we do. It's other. We care about the whole person. And were you going to say something,
Well,
Barb?
yeah, I was just thinking that this is March. I was thinking it was in January that you shared with us your idea about the wellness challenge, and since then, several other groups throughout our organization have done that. So you had the core of it from that, and what a good time
Hmm.
for a wellness challenge.
Hmm.
And we can talk about that more in a pre-call next week again. But um, this grew into this beautiful idea that now has become the go-to place, and that's how we want people to see us, as
Hmm.
resources to them.
Right.
Excellent,
Right.
Francine.
And
Very good.
just one more thing about that, Barb,
Sure.
too.
Yeah.
Not only is it important for us to remind our customers to take care of themselves, but we are caretakers, and there's
Mm,
something called caretaker stress. And a lot of times when you are supporting, you take on a lot of that stress yourself. You may not realize it, but it does take a toll on ourselves. So it's important for us to also take time to breathe, take time to be grateful, take time to surround ourselves with things that bring
mm,
us peace and joy. Because at this time, when we're working with a lot of customers, a lot of people who are under a lot of stress, that can come back to us as well. So we also need to be mindful about eating well and exercising and drinking our water, taking our supplements, so we can also be healthy, not only for them, but for
good
ourselves and
point.
our families as well.
Good
Yeah.
point. Thanks.
I love that idea so much, Francine. I just can't barely stand it. I think it's so brilliant because here's what I see a whole world that's afraid of being isolated. I'm afraid of being isolated. And so, single handedly, you've tapped into, I think, one of the biggest anxiety spots we're dealing with. And you're saying, let's meet that need. I just think it's just brilliant. So, I am in awe of how smart you
Well,
are. It's amazing.
it,
Amazing.
no, it's a team effort for sure, for sure.
Oh,
Yes.
well, I love it. I love it. And I actually invited a few of my team mates today. I'm like, you have to be on and listen to this idea because it's such a good idea and it's so intuitive and it's so needed. It's needed because we kind
Mm.
of are alone, right? We need each other and we need to feel that presence daily. I love it. So, all right. So we want to do a really good job talking about what to do and what not to do when reaching out because who we are and how we represent ourselves during this time is going to be everything, right? It's going to be everything.
Mm,
So we
mm.
need to learn where they're at and what they need. I thought I would tell a quick story because it's going to set this up, and then we have just a little bit of word tracks here. I have a new friend that I recently met at a baby shower, and she just got her esthetician's license. She's been working for about 8 weeks, loves her job, has a lot of debt for this, worked really hard for it, and now she's lost her job.
Oh.
Boom, just like that. They shut it down.
Mm,
And she posted in Facebook how she's had several people say to her, "Oh, well, what a great time to learn some new skills." And it hurt her so much because she
Oh.
doesn't want to learn a new skill. She's in debt. She just learned, and she just
Mm,
loves this new skill she just learned. And I felt like it was exactly what I think we
mm,
want to be thoughtful about. We can't offer solutions if we're not going to take a moment to feel where they're at. And
mm,
we know that our business is the most relevant thing in the world today. It really is. But
mm.
it's the fact that our business is so relevant and that we care that gives us place to love on people. Not going to have even an ounce of ability to consider a new thing right now. The idea of their own business will overwhelm them, but caring for them is just as important as opening the door for a possibility for a business. Does that make sense? So it's
yes.
really important that we think about this. So we want to be sensitive. We want to be a calm presence. We cannot be a calm presence if we jump in there with all this excitement about what we might get from them. If we're thinking about what we might get, how many business leaders, how much business, it is not going to work because it's not about us. It's about them. It's really important that we're not thinking on the level of how can I gain from this. We have to be thinking about them. It will open up the door for many business opportunities for us, but I don't believe we can do this wrong. I think we need to do it well. Okay, so here's
Mm.
just a little bit of good languaging. I loved this. I remember hearing stories back during the recession of 2008 of how many people avoided bankruptcy from foreclosure. And this is actually true. A lot of you guys are around during that time, and I don't know about you guys, but when the economy tanked, this is why my business took off because I had
Mm,
Shackley in place and I worked my little hiney
mm,
off because I was
Mhm,
terrified of losing the house. Look at
mhm.
this quote at the bottom. Most foreclosures could be avoided by just an extra $300 a month. What a great message for us to share. And we can't share it if we're too hung up on our own agenda. We have to be focused on them, right? All right, the next
very
slide.
nice.
Do
Mhm.
we
Uh, a
want to
li-
do we want to go back and just share that word track though? Because that's a powerful word track. Did we
sure,
share
go
that?
back.
Yeah, please. Because whenever you share word track, Lisa, I listen. I listen.
Well,
The
she
one
shared.
that I kind of modified it. Are you talking about the stories
Yeah.
from the recession?
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I can do it again.
Yeah,
I
please.
remember hearing stories back during the recession of 2008. How many people avoided bankruptcy or foreclosure because years ago they had started a little Shackley business on the side.
Right.
You know
Mhm.
why this is such a great word track? Because it's
Why is
true.
that?
Because
It's
it's
Why?
true.
true.
It's
This
Hmm.
is
true.
it
That's
rings
right.
true. This is
Mhm.
what happened to me. I started this thing on the side to stay home with my kids, and
Right.
now it is my sole income, right?
Right.
It's true for
True.
a lot of people. So when I would always say that with word tracks, if
Thank
your
you.
word tracks are true, they're always going to ring true, but you want to get them in your mind so they flow out of you. So thank
Mm.
you, Jeannie, for not letting me rush on. I
And we,
appreciate
No, no, it's just so powerful and it's what you went through. That was a painful time for people.
Yes,
But
yes.
now for you and that story. And if you don't have a story, I'm going to use Lisa's. That's what happened in
Yeah.
2008 and it turned out,
Mhm.
Lisa, you're okay about us using your story,
Oh,
won't
of
you?
course. I use your story. I use your story. That's the beautiful thing. You know what I believe our superpower in Shackley is?
Well,
Genuine. I believe that is what makes us a force in this world
mhm.
is because
Good
we can
girl.
be genuine because it's truth and truth has a way of getting into people. So
That's
if we
right.
can just settle into our strength there and then be real and then
Nice.
love, right?
Nice.
So,
hmm.
Nice.
okay, so
Francine.
I kind of believe this first question here was how this whole concept of this webinar came up is how are we handling the whole corona conversation, right? And so reaching out to people and saying, you know what I did on my family, my member pages, I said, how are you guys? I did a little Shackley live video. How are you feeling? Man, what a beautiful question. Just to call your people and say, how are you feeling about everything? I promise you, people have a lot to talk about. And then you have this opportunity once you've listened to say, I'm not sure if you know what I do or what my company's about, but they have just issued a really great immunity collection. And I'm just wondering if you might want to hear about it. Those are just natural, real,
Nice.
genuine words,
Mm.
right? Existing customers, you say the same thing. And that's kind of what I did in my group. If you do you know anyone who's feeling anxious? If you know anyone who's looking for some practical solutions to be preventative, I would be happy to speak with them. So
Mm.
we want you guys to be free to share Shackley, and then really a lot of this webinar is about just helping you be confident in what you have to do here. It's a beautiful thing. No sales pitches. Francine, this is your slide. I
Oh,
just
that's
totally took
fine.
that
No,
from you.
that's fine. That's so
Hey, I
You
good.
was
did
on
it
such a
great.
roll there.
That
I'm
was
so
You
sorry.
were. I
Here,
love
that was
listening to Lisa.
excellent.
you can
Just
steal one of
all
mine if you
good.
want.
There you go.
All good. All good.
So the whole point of all this is, again, it's questions, right? We can't go in assuming that we know where somebody's coming from. So that's the beauty of asking questions, because we can learn more and express our genuine care and concern. So just starting, how are you feeling? When I did that post for the my happy place group, that was my opening line on my Facebook post. Hey friends,
Mm,
how are you doing?
mm,
And I think that gets people's attention. It wasn't like, listen up, we're doing this. It was, how are you? um, People are concerned about older friends and relatives. We can ask them about that. What kind of stress is going on in their lives right now? And the reason we're telling them is because our company has some information on products that may help us to be more proactive about prevention. And how does that make you feel? Some people may say that they feel safer if they can be proactive, and so we have a resource for that. um, Again, having some tools in your tool chest, 4 to 5 products to share. Don't feel like you have to know everything about all of our products. We have so many resources. If you haven't been on the website and dug around on the product pages, where you're shopping, there's so many different links right under the products,
mhm, mhm,
that you can get a lot of information. If you have the Nutrition and You books, those are beautiful guides to get
Mhm.
information from, to share with people. And then you look like you're really smart, but you're just reading. But that's what makes you smart, is you know where to go for the resources. So like Lisa said, the Privet Challenge is a great place to start, but all of those antioxidants, the vitamin C, the zinc, those all help. And you might have a conversation with somebody. Now, this takes a little bit of relationship building already. I would hope you wouldn't just randomly pick somebody off your Facebook friends list who you haven't seen since high school and say, hey, are you being impacted financially? I mean, that's not coming from a place of concern. But
Mhm.
I had a conversation this week with somebody who is, she's a college student, and she was student or substitute teaching, excuse me, for extra income. And now that the schools are closed, there's not a need for substitute
mm,
teachers. And so we
mm.
got to have a conversation about that, about what she was thinking of doing. And she's interested in learning more about a Shackley business. I had another
Nice. I
person,
love
a
it.
member, call today who was laid off from her job. She works for a company that works with schools with yearbooks. And again, they were laid off because schools aren't open right now, so she couldn't do her job. So she's
Mm,
a strong member, and she's interested in knowing more about the business too. So
nice.
that's the thing about taking care of your customers all
Mm.
along, because they learn
Good
to trust you, and then
examples.
you can have those
Yeah.
conversations.
Very
Yeah.
good. Hmm.
Gosh, and you've earned the right to be interested and be concerned because you've established that relationship. So
Hmm.
Sure.
those are excellent, Francine. And really, all you had to do was just say, "Oh my goodness, how are you? How are you going to handle this?" I mean, because it's
Hmm.
real. That's so
Yeah.
good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right,
Nice.
so just a little bit more about business and things. Again, we want you to feel their pain first. Don't go into just trying to make a catch or snag someone to do the business. Be present with them. I love this phrase. I use it a lot. I don't know if this would be helpful, or sometimes I'll say to people, I'm not sure if this would be of interest to you, but I would be happy to show you how it works. If you know people who are anxious about income, you can say, we have, and I've actually been saying this a lot. We have a great training going on right now. We have everything that we need in place to help people be successful. I do a lot of talking about the team. The team, we have a great team of leaders that love and support each other. It's kind of tapping into the culture thing, right? We have a wonderful group of people that cheer each other on, and it's so true. So it's easy to say. The need for our products has never been greater. Boy, that's the truth. Holy smokes, right? And then we have a really unique thing that the company has offered with the distributor joining free being discounted right now. Again, I would be thoughtful on that. I wouldn't just bulldoze all over town with that. I would just say, you know what, our
Hmm.
company is really aware of the needs and there's a desire to help, right? So You want to look for creative ways. I actually like talking about the idea that people look for creative ways when times get tough. They will really figure out
Mm,
how to make it work. And so,
mm,
and then the idea that we're a part of a company that's built on such kindness and goodness, that's a pretty special, unique thing. And I mean, I got to have a lovely conversation with Mike Coogan a couple months ago about this. He's like, but we get to invite people
mhm.
to participate into the kindness of Shackley. And it's
Nice.
really true, right? So, all
Mm,
right.
good. All right. We
Right.
can whip through these, Francine.
Yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
these are just some letters to customers, and one is just talking about the reputation of our company and asking people to reach out to us if they'd like to be proactive. And then there's another that actually Barb constructed to send to her neighbors, who she's not even sure that they know what she does, but just letting them know how she can be of service, which is another nice thing that you can do. Maybe send a letter to your neighbors. We're not supposed to be getting out too much anymore. Maybe share some of the different products that we do have. And again, if you have a little bit of a stockpile, you may have some things there you want to highlight, or perhaps you want to do a group order, and then you can deliver those to, and they don't have to get out of the house. And we know that ordering from Shackley is always, door to door service, and that's one of the beautiful things. And
Another selling point today.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Right.
But anyway, this is just a nice way again to show concern to people.
Very good. Oh, thank you for all these. Your phrasing and your kindness and your caring really comes through. And so, we just wanted to wrap up with just some thoughts. Years ago, it just happened that I caught the last program that Oprah Winfrey did, and I didn't even know it was back in 2011. And it just seemed, gosh, it just seems so relevant today. She said, "We are all called to something, and we want to figure out what it is and then get about doing it." She said, "Let your calling light the spark within you so you can illuminate the world." And each of us has a platform. She said hers was the Oprah show, but she said ours is wherever we are with our own reach. That is where the power lies. She said, "Be who you are and let your life speak for you." And it just felt like that's what's going on now. Jeannie, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. Well, first of all, as Barbara said, we don't really know why we're here, and we really don't know why we're here in Shackley at this time. But I believe in fate, and I believe that the right people came to the right company, are going to serve the right people. And we all have this ability to nurture, to forgive, to heal, to love. We all have that same power. So I think right now we have a gift within us. We've always said Shackley is a gift. But today, when I was talking to one of our leaders, I said to him, "You have a gift. You've been holding back and sharing this gift for such a long time. Now's the time to embrace the gift you have and to contribute."
Mm,
And it's like when he heard that, he just realized this was the time to do that. And I think that's what all of us are trying to convey to you this evening. We've even conveying this to ourselves, to be honest.
Mhm.
mhm,
So this is the time to do that. And I think the sincerity that Francine and Lisa shared tonight, it was really heartwarming because this was their idea to
right.
stop the 8 weeks of training and to do this. And I want to thank them because sometimes
Mm.
we get so wrapped up in the program that we sort of forget what is going on in the world. So I want to thank you both for that. Barb?
Hmm. Well, just the last thing then that she said was she reminded us that we are responsible for our life. She said, "All life is energy. We transmit energy in every moment, and the world responds in kind. You are responsible for the energy you bring to yourself and to others." I remember last week talking about how when we get off the phone with somebody, when even if we have sent them a quick message or text, that we want to leave them better than when we found them. We want to make sure something we did or said maybe lifted them a bit. But this was interesting also at the close. She said, "Don't wait for someone to fix you or to
Mm.
save you. You are responsible for your life. That makes you free to change, to become whatever it is you are meant to be. So now is certainly that time for us to reach out. And you know what? There are going to be some people who aren't ready to receive your information.
Right.
So if we ask questions gently and we make it real easy for people to say, I don't think I'm ready to hear that yet. I don't think I'm interested right now. We make it real easy for people to say, that's okay. I just want you to know if and when you are that I might have some resources that would be of interest to you. It makes it real easy for people to say no to us. And I think they appreciate that. Francine, you want to close?
Sure. So this is all about service and having a vision. Again, that goes back to what's in your heart, what's in your mind, believing this to be true of you. We talked about leaders, and I want to make sure you all realize, every one of you who's listening to this call today realizes that you are all leaders. It doesn't matter what your rank is, it matters what's in your heart and how you behave. And people look
Mhm.
up to you. You leave an impression on everyone who you come into contact with. So remember that you are a leader, and remember the words of Maya Angelou. Your legacy are the people who made the decision to make a change because of you. You are powerful, friends. Please don't forget that.
Oh, I love that. Love it. Love it.
Okay, maybe some action steps, Lisa.
Yeah, I want to start with the last one on the list here because
Mhm.
Francine added this today when we went through this list, and I thought it was so important. And I think if you do this first, you're going to
Mm,
excel in the list.
mm,
So look all the way down to the last bullet point. Your number one action step, your first action step is to make a list of the value you bring to your customers. And if
mm,
this is hard for you, then we're going to insist that you sit down and accomplish it because you must know who you are and what you bring to
mm,
your people so that you can be free to do it.
mm,
So write out that list. If you struggle, reach out to someone and get some help there. But this was brilliant. So thank you, Francine, for thinking of that. Make a list. And if you have lots of current customers, start with 10 so you don't get overwhelmed. Make a list of 10 current customers. Call and just ask them how they are. Ask them how they're doing with the quarantine. Ask them what's going on. And then when you hear and you listen, you can ask permission to review the products they might want to know about, what Shackley's offering to help. They might have questions about what's going on with back orders and shipping and all that. Offer to place the order for them. And then you want to say, uh, for those who might feel less, sorry, my thing is being blocked here by my
Oh,
thing.
and I might just say, Lise, one
Yeah.
of the reasons you might want to place the order for them now is there are wait times, and better for us to be doing the waiting than for our customers,
Oh,
right?
if they're
So
calling in.
as if
Yes.
they're calling it, so
Good.
have them not call, have them call you, not call Shackley and get frustrated. Have them just call you, you take it down, then you can do it online. Go ahead, sorry.
Very good. No, no, thank you. And then also, you just want to have some soft, comfortable language to ask if they have anyone in their life that is dealing with some anxiety, and if it would be helpful for them to know about a proactive program, a program that could help them with prevention. Just a little clear direction, especially older folks or parents or grandparents or whatever. And so, I do think that's a great service, and I'm certain people out there know people that could use a loving call to say, hey, we do have some things that could help. It's a really nice little simple program, right? Okay,
Mm,
then make a list of 10 people who don't know about Shackley and then go through that same process. Ask them if they know, if they'd like to know about what you do. Um, you can make a list of 5 to 10 people. I mean, my goodness, I just got a text from a friend 5 minutes ago about the state of Colorado, and they're mandatorily closing down all non essential services, hair salons, tattoo parlor,
whoa.
everything's
Mm,
closing down. By tomorrow morning in Colorado, you're going to have a list of 20 people. Be
mm,
thoughtful, be sensitive, don't jump on them. But if you call, like Francine gave examples,
mm,
and ask them how they're doing,
mm,
there's probably going to be someone in there that's open to thinking of something a little out of the box, a little creative.
mm,
So thinking about people who might want to look at something that could be an additional source of income. Give them a
mm,
space to evaluate, right? Calm fears, love this, and leave everyone happier than when you found them. Isn't that a sweet thought? And then again, just another little tip considering maybe pulling in some products that you could have on hand that could help some people.
Yeah, especially if Shackley has back orders,
Hmm.
if you can keep a little inventory, especially if people are getting sick, they really need stuff right away.
Right.
Because we're still in cold and flu season, besides all that.
Oh,
And
true.
Jeannie, here, this is
Yeah.
Jeannie's Mr. Rogers slide.
So All the things that we said tonight will come very easily, I think, when we keep Mr. Rogers saying, because when there are scary things, he always said, or his mom said, look for the helpers. You will
Mm,
always find people who are helping.
mm,
And that's who we are. If you give Shackley people a reason why they do Shackley, they'll talk about the cars and the trips and everything else. But on the top of the list is always, I want to help.
mm, mm,
And so, if you can see yourself as a helper right now, I don't think you'll have any hesitations. And again, just to review, we did talk about customer last week, and I think customer care is so important. This is your way of serving your customers, and it's during challenging times that we have to set this up. You're going to have a little bit more time. You won't get your hair done, you won't be able to get your nails done. You are going to have time now to set up these systems. But what I do want to challenge you to do, as we said in the beginning, is to rise, shine, and lead. If you do have a group,
mm,
have Zoom calls with your groups. Make sure you do that. Keep connected with them.
mm,
Have Zooms with your customers and also monitor your own self talk. We've talked about that a
Mm,
lot. Make
mm,
sure that you are in tune with how you're feeling because you're going to have to be giving this energy to others. During these times, we really can't control what's going on. But
mm,
and so, really, what I would like to share with all of you, many of you may not remember this, but when there was a blackout in the 1960s, many of you were probably not even born. There were a lot of babies being born during the blackout.
mm,
Now, I'm not saying there's going to be a lot of babies born through this, although this may happen, but I believe deep down inside there's going to be a lot of directors being born
mm,
because a
mm,
lot of people are going to step up
mm,
and
good.
really realize they are a helper. They
Mm,
have a gift. They want to serve. They want to create a community. I have to tell you, I've never seen in my lifetime in Shackley the more creative ideas that are coming through.
mm,
And
mm,
that's because
mm,
this is going to be time that we are going to pop out a lot of directors, a
mm,
lot of leaders. And I just hope you'll all join us
mm,
because, as we said, we need distributors right now to handle what's going on in this company.
mm,
And
mhm,
I couldn't be happier that
mhm,
this gift has been given to us to Shackley because we
mm,
have deserved this all along.
mhm,
mhm,
So, really stay safe, stay healthy, and just stay positive and proactive. We
mm.
need you
Excellent.
to do that now.
Very good, Jeannie. Thank you, dear.
mhm.
So, if we can take one more minute, I've asked our friend Ruth to, if she would pop in and just show you one thing on the website, which is how to find the product availability part. Here she comes.
Okay, and in case you didn't know this, whenever you want to go back to the home page, which is where you land whenever you log in, hit the Shackley logo. I probably have told you that already, but I'm sharing it again because it takes you right back to the home page because
Mm,
that's where you want to go. You want to scroll down, and right
there
down
it
here,
is.
there is the product availability button.
Mm,
And when you click on that, it gives you all the information about what's off back order, what's on back order, what's permanently discontinued. And Barb, if it's okay, I'm just going to share one other quick thing because
sure, sure.
there's another thing right down there at the very bottom that's really helpful, and that's links and resources.
Mm,
It's not intuitive, you wouldn't really think about it, but that's where you can go to get most of your things that aren't related to a specific product. So here, there's a price list order form, a member price
mm,
and retail.
mm,
Here's where you find the privileges and responsibilities. You know
mm.
all those videos that they showed us how to do things with on the website back in
Oh,
the beginning?
there they
Here's where they
are.
are.
Oh, I was trying to find them.
So go look
Mm,
here, and then at popular business forums, that's another one that
mm,
takes it a level deeper. And here's where you can
mm,
find things like uh, uh, EFT forms and address change forms and things
mhm.
like that. So just know that if you're looking for a particular piece of paper that's not related to product, go searching in there.
And the by mention that and the electronic transfer forms, that's what we need for new distributors and new directors to have so that they can be paid directly by Shackley.
Yep,
Yeah, that's an important one to know where that is.
there it is.
Nice,
Electronic
Ruth.
funds transfer
Nice.
request. Okay.
That's it. Good. Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you are wonderful. I love it when you pop in. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We wish you a healthy week and a week of reaching out. And you know what? We would love to hear um, about your reach outs. So let us know. We're it's just those stories are really very heartwarming for us. So thank you. Have a good week. See you next Thursday. Bye bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.